Alright, so this is the day after the Wake Forest Notre Dame game where Trey Burt's hit a three, buzzer beater to put Notre Dame up and win. I only managed to catch the fourth quarter. I didn't even know the game was on at first, but it's glad to see them win. It was a hard-fought game from what I watched. Great game. Hopefully they can do it again against UNC, which one of my family members is a Tar Heels fan, so I really want to beat them. That's half the reason I want to beat them. And the other half is because I want to see Notre Dame keep moving. And if they string together a full game, 4 quarters of hard physical play, that's a W, I think. I think that's Notre Dame's game to win if they play 4 quarters as strong as they've played some games 2 quarters or a half. They've had a reputation this season, at least from my viewpoint, of they'll play one half of the game great, and then the other half they'll struggle, like Syracuse. They played the first half great. They were coming out all cylinders firing. Second half, they collapse. Same thing happened in their last regular season game, which I happened to be watching, the full game, while I was playing Warzone with some of my buddies, but they played great in the first half. They were scoring on all cylinders. Second half, you get foul trouble. They stopped getting turnovers, which the other team stopped turning over the ball. I think that's part of what helped Notre Dame, is if a team starts turning over the ball, they can keep that rolling. And they fell apart in the second half, but they managed to string together enough of a lead and hold off for enough time where they managed to win that last regular season game with Jack Nolan commentating, which he'll be retiring after the season, which is sad to see him go. But hopefully Notre Dame can win this game and move on. If so, one of my family members may be getting a funny text. And I will be back after the game. It's at 9, so rip my sleep schedule. Hopefully I wake up for my class tomorrow morning at 7:30, but we'll see what happens. And hopefully Notre Dame can pull off another win. I will be back after the game, and then the rest of the podcast will be after my game update, or before pre and post game update. All right, welcome back to the Golden Dome. Finally got this up and going, but I never really got my post-game thoughts on Notre Dame's loss to UNC, but now we're going to, so it's multiple days after I've collected my thoughts, and I've also kind of just looked over the game a couple times and the stats and pinpoint everything that went wrong, and a lot of stuff did go wrong. No doubt about that. So, Notre Dame lost in round 2. They came out of round 1 with that buzzer beater, and then take the loss in round 2 of the ACC tourney, which you probably heard that in the previous part, which I recorded right before the game. So, yeah, kind of sucks looking now. But let's look over the bracket once it loads. Alright. Actually, nope, this is the March Madness. I want to go to ACC bracket. I got it on my phone, but I don't want to go look it up on my phone at this moment. Here it is. So, the first round ended up seeing Notre Dame's win. Hold on. Can I zoom in on that? Nope. Notre Dame's win over Wake Forest, 80-77. Miami beating Pitt, 79-73, and Duke beating BC, 86-51. Second round saw Syracuse beat NC State 89-68. Miami beat Clemson 67-64. Duke beat Louisville 70-56, and North Carolina beat Notre Dame 101-59. Then Virginia went on to beat Syracuse, but they got disqualified due to COVID the next game, so Georgia Tech automatically moved in that semifinals game. And that was also by a buzzer beater. Georgia Tech beat Miami 70-66. Florida State versus Duke was canceled because Duke had COVID-19 tests positive. And North Carolina beat Virginia Tech 81-73. In the semifinals, Georgia Tech obviously moved on because of a COVID case. In Virginia, Florida State beat North Carolina 69-66. And then Georgia Tech beat Florida State 80-75 in the championship. So, looking at Notre Dame's game against North Carolina, they fell apart in the second half. Absolutely fell apart. And just noting, selections for the March Madness tournament are in 2 hours. So, I'm getting audio I don't want. It's a Reese's commercial. I don't need that audio. I really don't. I hope I don't get striked for that. If I get striked for that, I gotta cut that out. Yeah, that would suck, but looking at this is not what I wanted, but okay. Let's go to ESPN. I can pull it from ESPN. Yeah, this was a bad game. They ended up limping out of there with barely any signs of life left. And it was the game of dominating the glass for the UNC Tar Heels. They really out-rebounded Notre Dame, and that's part of what killed the game for Notre Dame, was just the constant second chance points for North Carolina, and that was a big problem I noted during the game from the beginning. Once it really started happening, was they can't get second chance points. They can't allow second chance points, and they allowed so much that pretty much took out their chances of really winning. Dame had horrible field goal percentage in the second half. In total, they were 19 for 61 in a field goal percentage, 31.1% compared to North Carolina's 39 of 77 for 50.6%. Very bad. Three-pointers, 7 of 26, 26.9% for Notre Dame, and 9 of 24, 37.5% for North Carolina. So, two shots really separating that, so it's not very big of a difference. Both teams are 14 of 18 from the line, or from the free throw line, both equaling 77.8% from the free throw. North Carolina almost fully out-rebounded Notre Dame just on the offensive glass compared to Notre Dame's total, with North Carolina having 54 total rebounds, 25 offensive. Notre Dame had 31 total rebounds, 15 offensive, 16 defensive. Yeah. North Carolina pulled in 19 assists compared to Notre Dame's 8. North Carolina had 12 blocks compared to Notre Dame's 4. North Carolina had 9 steals compared to Notre Dame's 5. North Carolina turned the ball over 11 times compared to Notre Dame's 16. And North Carolina fouled 15 times compared to Notre Dame's 16. So mostly even there in the fouls category. North Carolina had more in the first half. Notre Dame had more in the second half from what I know. Notre Dame had a problem turning the ball over in the first half, but kind of turned it over. But all in all, it was kind of useless in the end, since they just couldn't shoot. The shot efficiency just was not there. And it's really disappointing to see that happen to a team that managed to rally through that last game they had in the first round. But it is what it is. Wirtz and Djogo, both guards, barely showed up this game. Wirtz played 26 minutes with only 3 points, the savior of the last game. And Djogo had only 1 point on 16 minutes, though, and Wirtz had 26 minutes and 3 points. Hub showed up at least, or Hub Durham Lizinski actually kind of showed up, with Hub and Lizinski getting 13 and Durham getting 10. Durham struggled on the boards, only pulling down 6 rebounds. Lizinski did even worse, only pulling down 4, while Durham did play a lesser role than Lizinski did, which is kind of sad to see. Dane Goodwin played 31 minutes, only had 5 points. Durham played less and had more. It kind of tells you a little bit of what you need to know for that game in terms of shooting. Yeah, the Notre Dame team left a lot to be desired. It definitely left a lot that should have happened in the locker room, really. It didn't look like they left it all on the court. They just stopped learning how to shoot in the second half. They kept it close in the first, having a 1-point lead going into the first. Nope, wrong game. This one just pulled up a different game. The original one I had was right, and I tried to pull up another one that had the wrong game. Gotta love it, right? So I'm trying to... Ooh, here it is. Is this it? I'm trying to find something that'll just give me a shot percentage for each person, or at least makes and misses. I'm sure I'll find it. Found it. Lizinski was 4 for 7 from the field and 0 for 2 from 3-point range. Hub was 3 for 8, not a great performance from him. Durham went 4 for 9. Wirtz went 1 for 9, and Djogo went 0 for 1. So he didn't take any shots. He took none whatsoever. Which I kind of get if they played him, if he played more to that point guard position of a passing point guard instead of a shooting point guard. I get it, but Cormac Ryan went 2 for 9. Sanders Jr. went 2 for 4. Goodwin went 2 for 8. Morgan went 1 for 2. Zona went 0 for 4. And Carmody and Taylor didn't play. So they struggled. Cormac actually turned the ball over 3 times. Hub turned it over 4. Everyone else turned it over 2 or 1. Let me note Cormac Ryan went 0 for 4 from 3-point land. And Hub went 3 for 7. And Wirtz went 1 for 4. They were all struggling from 3-point land. Djogo and Wirtz both picked up 4 fouls. Everybody else picked up 2, 1, or 0. Hold on. 3 of the 4 blocks went to Durham. That doesn't really surprise me, knowing how good Durham can be. And Cormac Ryan had 2 steals. All in all, their shooting was just bad in the second half, and it really costed them. And they played against a team who, though they were missing Brooks, they had a dominant big man lineup, and it was just, it looked like it could have been over from the start, and it originally wasn't. Notre Dame was almost even with the 6.5 point favorite at first. Then they fell apart, and the decay started in the second half and continued through to the end of the second half. Notre Dame kept it kind of close in the first, only being down by 15, which isn't bad. Then they only dropped 23 points in the second. Tells you about all you need to know. Looking at the NCAA tournament bracketology for March Madness, it's looking like ESPN's got last 4 in: Syracuse, Louisville, Drake, Utah State. First 4 out: Wichita State, Colorado State, St. Louis, Ole Miss. Next 4 out: Memphis, West Kentucky, Duke, Boise State. And the last 4, right before the last 4 in, are Maryland, VCU, Michigan State, UCLA, which is interesting. They've got the 1 seeds as Gonzaga, Baylor, Michigan, and Illinois. I don't know why I said Illinois. But selection is going to be in 2 hours, so we'll see who the last guys that get in are. I'm wondering if Syracuse gets in, because I live in New York, so it's going to be some. If they get in, I'm going to hear a lot of happy Syracuse fans. If they don't, I'm going to hear a lot of angry Syracuse fans. And if they do or don't, I may or may not text my cousin and see what's going on there. But all in all, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Louis Nix. They had a candle lighting last week it was within the week. I think it was yesterday at the spot where they found his car in the pond. Sad to see such a young former Notre Dame player go, but it's such a personality. Someone always like to make people smile, but there's nothing we can do. Kyle Rudolph got cut from the Vikings. It's interesting that Kyle Rudolph got cut. I was actually looking through the move. How much did the Vikings save? the Vikings, how much did they save is what I'm looking for. But we are hearing rumors that he could go, or could be interested in the Patriots. No. If he goes to the Patriots, I'm not doing it. Nope. It saved them $5.1 million against the salary cap in 2021. And this is the first time in his career Kyle Rudolph has ever been a free agent. Rudolph said, "I got so lucky because," he said, end quote, "I got so lucky because I didn't just get drafted by some team who had to need a tight end. I didn't just get drafted as like the nameless, faceless number one tight end on the board. I got drafted by a team that was all set in terms of need, but then drafted me anyway." And he also said that, "I will always remember that how the Minnesota Vikings wanted me and wanted to bet on my potential." It's interesting to see what he said. I think wherever he lands, he'll be a valuable asset for at least a couple seasons. And I'm glad that he's had such a great career so far and can hopefully do that for somebody else. I found a stat a couple weeks ago, maybe a week and a half. It was comparing win percentage of Notre Dame coaches, since either the 70s or 80s. Not sure, but sometime around there up to now. And looking at it, it was rolling win percentage, I'm pretty sure. Let me pull the exact tweet up now, because I have it on my phone. And right now I'm not looking at my phone, so let me pull it up from there. Oh, mid-show, we've got breaking news. 4-star corner Jaden Mickey committed to Notre Dame. Apparently. So Marcus Freeman's making an impact. That's what I like to see. He's definitely had an impact in recruiting, and I'm glad that that's happening now. Alright. Where is it? Here it is. So, it was 5-year rolling win percentage since 1970. And it's got guys like Holtz, Davie-Weis, Kelly, Foss, Devine, and Parsegian all on it. And looking at it, I've heard of comparisons of Kelly to Davie and Weiss. No. Looking at Kelly's win percentage, or rolling win percentage, rolling 5-year win percentage, it goes from around 54% to 51% to around 65%, 67, 69, 70, around 73, I think that is. And then back down to around 67, 65, 69, 70, I want to say 74 and 75, or 73 and 74. I'm not sure the exact numbers, it doesn't list those. But there's comparisons to the Davie-Weis era. I don't believe in those comparisons anymore, especially looking through stuff like this. Because, he's had higher rolling win percentage ever since after years 1 and 2. His highest win percentage is higher than their highest win percentage by a bit, I'd say. By at least 5% from Davie and more from Weiss. A little bit more, maybe around 8. But still, he's done very well with this program. That, and I don't know if there's many coaches that would compare to a Brian Kelly style, where he's somebody that he can sit there and he can be on the sideline. He can yell at you if he's angry, and he can be happy but not really show it. And if you get praise, you deserve it, because he's one of those guys that it's not really great to praise, or not really fast to praise. And his style, he's got a great style. It's a great fit for this college team, and I'm glad he's in the spot that he is. But anyway, this has been a short podcast, but hopefully we'll be back next week, and the Golden Dome is signing off.